So how to get more work done. That's probably the most cliche title I've probably posted so far. But honestly, this video is going to be a lot different than most videos you've probably seen out there, okay? So if you're anything like me, you've probably watched hundreds of YouTube videos on how to be productive, how to get more work done, maybe read books, podcasts. There's a lot of fluff out there. I've realized there's stuff that works and there's stuff that doesn't. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't, okay? So in this video, I really want to kind of just take what's worked for me and what's worked really well and actually put it into this video. So if you haven't watched any of my videos before, my name's Knox, and at 17, I've been able to scale a business past 10K per month, okay? So I feel like I've learned a lot along the way, and by no means am I an expert in this, okay? There's tons of people out there doing it better, but that being said, there are a lot of systems that are still being taught by people twice my age who literally have no idea what they're doing, okay? So this has worked for me, and it's allowed me to scale my business at such a young age, okay? So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first thing is kind of just to lay the groundwork, okay? So I honestly see it as, when you're trying to get a lot of work done, you really need to turn yourself into more of a machine instead of a human. And that sounds, kind of weird, but it's honestly the case. You don't want to be making, decisions based on emotion. You actually want to get, the right task done. And this is literally how it's done, okay? So I'm going to break down this equation: energy times focus equals a result. Okay, so focus is to concentrate all energy into a sharp central point. Okay, so if you're not working on the right tasks, you're not going to get anything done. So you really need to, have focus, obviously. Okay, now leverage is basically focus is a multiplier of energy. Okay, so it's honestly going to be your major leverage point because you can't really do much with energy. Now I know this doesn't make sense, and I'll explain it. Okay, so energy is going to be things, you can get better sleep to have more energy. You can get better exercise to have more energy. You can improve your diet, right? But there's really only so many things you can, improve with your energy, okay? So focus is going to be a big, major leverage point, as I was saying, in this equation. Okay, so the equation is energy times focus equals a result, okay? So let's say the average person has, 5 energy, but really only 1 focus, okay? Since a lot of people, they're scrolling Instagram, they're scrolling TikTok, they're watching YouTube videos like this, trying to be productive, but not actually getting anything done, okay? So let's say they have a 5 energy and a 1 focus. Well, the result would still be a 5, right? Now let's say you have a dialed in person, someone who's, the top 1%. Well, they have a 10 energy, because they've got their sleep in check, they've got their diet in check, they've got their exercise in check. They've done these things to get their energy up, okay? And they're focused, they're dialed in, and they're doing the right tasks. Well, now they have a 10 focus or something, right? These aren't, specific numbers, I'm just hypothetically, okay? 10 times 10 equals 100, okay? So the same person, they've done a little bit more to improve their energy, and they've really dialed in their focus. Now the result equals 100 output versus a petty 5. Okay, so really this is the equation that we're going to be working with today. Okay, this is how you're going to be able to, get insane progress done. Okay, because really you could have, a 10 energy but a 1 focus, and you still have a 10 result or 10 output, and that's not great. Okay, so we're going to be basically talking about energy, how to optimize that, and how to optimize your focus. When you can get these 2 things in check, you can really make leaps forward in your business, okay? So a lot of people, they're kind of giving their energy to lots of different things, okay? So, the random tasks, this could be, taking the kids to school, this could be cooking, this could be eating, all these little, tasks that actually don't really matter, okay? So our goal is to be able to take this energy and put it into one task that's actually going to move us closer towards our goal, okay? So I was actually just posting about this yesterday on my Instagram Reels. I'm doing 30 tips in 30 days. So if you want to check that out, you can. But basically I was saying, you want to be able to give all your energy to one thing, okay? And if you're not doing that, that's what keeps most people back from hitting their goals. It was in the context of hitting your goals, okay? Most people, they're doing all the wrong tasks. Even though they have a goal, these tasks don't really get them closer to their goal. Okay, so really we want to find out how to take the energy we have and put it into the right tasks to achieve the right outcome. Okay, so let's first talk about energy. First thing you can do to really hone this in is your sleep. Okay, so honestly, you know the basics. Target 7 to 8 hours. The stuff I've realized though is, it really is a sacrifice. Okay, you can't stay out late at events. You can't scroll Instagram late. You can't be watching YouTube videos into the night or Netflix or whatever, right? You really have to have some discipline to go to bed early. Okay, you have big goals. It's going to take a big sacrifice. Not many people are willing to do that. So, if you want to stay average, stay average. But if you're willing to take these steps, this is really how you're going to be able to do it. Okay. Otherwise, you'll be outcompeted by everyone else who is, right? I'm willing to wake up at 5. I'm even trying to push that back to like 4:30. And there's hundreds of thousands of people out there who are doing this. Okay. These are the top 1% who are willing to make the sacrifice. And if you're not, you'll be outcompeting. Okay. So avoid working late since you're busy. So a lot of people, they're going to be, let's say you have an editing project that has to get done, or you think. So you spend all night doing it, but you completely wreck your sleep schedule, right? And you've one, wrecked your sleep schedule. 2, you've basically done, you don't have the energy. So right up here, we're talking about that. You probably only had 2 energy. Even if you were completely focused, right, your output would not be great. Does that make sense? So sleep is really big to get your energy up. Okay. So too many people stay up late with tons of work to do, thinking they're just, needing to grind it out, right? But if you think about it like this, would you show up to work drunk, or would you wait till you're sober and get back to work? Well, it's probably pretty simple. You'd want to wait till you're sober and get back to work. Otherwise, you'd just be doing bad work, and it would get done worse than it should be. Okay. It's the exact same for sleep. 99% of the time, it's literally essential just to stop the work, go to bed at a consistent time, get good sleep, and pick up the grind the next day, early the next day. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be left tackling projects with half the energy and ruining your sleep schedule. Like I was saying, okay. So it's really a lose-lose. So having your sleep in check is essential. Okay. Next is the diet. Okay, so in my experience, here's kind of what I found works best. I've tried a lot of different things. So just a note, this is optimizing for business growth and not building aesthetic physique. Okay, so I'm trying to build an aesthetic physique, but I realize my business goals are going to be a lot different from my aesthetic goals. And yeah, it kind of sounds weird on paper, but here's why. Okay, so the main foods I eat are going to be things like steak, beef, eggs, yogurt, avocado. And here's why. Okay. So when I was bulking, when I was trying to build that aesthetic physique, this is literally something I could eat during the day, right? It was high in calories, had, high carbs. So that was great for before I hit a gym session. And it was easy to get down. Okay. That being said, this would be terrible for, trying to grow a business. And here's why. So these foods in particular, they really help with energy, sustained energy. So, with the steaks and the fats in there and from the avocados, it's really going to be long-term energy. Okay. Versus carbs right here, you're going to eat all these carbs, you'll have a high energy, and then it's just going to crash. That's the opposite here. You're going to have sustained energy with foods like this. Okay. Not to mention, you're going to get much more focus and clarity from these red meats. Okay. So just having your diet in check, having a clean diet, even if it's not, meat based, really just find something that's clean, that works for you. But it's really going to increase your focus and clarity. Okay. The steak is going to boost your testosterone, which makes it easier to do harder tasks. And all around, you've just got better energy from eating clean versus eating dirty, right? And there's a time for this if you're trying to bulk. But I found I can make the best progress if I really just focus on the business than if I focus on my physique, not trying to do them both at once. Otherwise, eating like this, I literally used to eat this exact meal for breakfast. This would wreck me if I'm trying to make, progress in the business. Okay. It's a lot of hard tasks mentally that you need the energy for. Okay. Next is exercise. Didn't want to go too far into this, but basically most people recommend the morning. Personally, I like to do it at the end of the day. It's really up to you. Okay. The reason I found the end of the day is because I don't really have much going on at the end of the day. So I figured I'd just do it. That being said, if you find it hard to get yourself into the gym, I'd say definitely make it the first thing you do in the day. It's always, easier to just get the first thing or the hardest thing done first. It just works better that way. Okay. You'll find yourself consistent, and it'll just be easier to stick to. Okay. So that covers exercise, and that really covers energy. Okay. So these are some basic things. Like, I'm not going too in depth here, but I'm just talking about the very basics, and that's really, what's going to get your energy up. That way we can dial in the focus and get the best result. Okay. Hopefully this is making sense so far. So now we're going to be talking about focus. So you have to take extra steps to make it, 1, impossible for people to reach you while you're working, and 2, impossible to get distracted. Okay? This is literally my number 1 productivity hack, because most people do not do this. So they're literally trying to fight an uphill battle, which is not going to work. They're trying to focus, but at the same time, they have everything fighting for their focus. They've got Instagram, they've got YouTube, texts, emails, like literally every single notification is just sitting right next to them and distracting them. Okay. So it's important, it's essential to get this in check. Okay. So the truth is, work is already hard, but trying to get hard work done and fight distractions and interruptions is next to impossible. Okay. So I've tried a lot. Here's kind of what's worked best for me. Like I said, I've tried so many things. I've watched all the YouTube videos, just trying to figure out how to actually get work done and how to be productive and stop procrastinating and stop, just wasting time putting off these hard tasks. Okay. So the first one is do not disturb. Seems pretty obvious, but most people don't actually use it enough. Okay. So no, I do this before I start my work. So I'll wake up. My phone's already on do not disturb and airplane mode, so I'm not waking up to all these notifications which distract me from the day. Okay. And just to preface this is really underrated. Over the past month or so, I've been able to get, consistent 13-hour work days of dialed in work. And the number 1 reason for that is literally I've been able to remove every single distraction and just focus on the work. And also, I've done everything I was just talking about to improve my energy, which means my output has been insane. Okay. So don't overlook this. This is really important. Okay. So 90% of the day, my phone is on do not disturb and airplane mode. Okay. So not only is it hard for people to get a hold of me on do not disturb, when I'm in airplane mode, I'm dialed in. Okay. It also turns off my Wi-Fi. You can see here I have an action button. On the newer phones, they have an action button right here. So I can just hold this down and it basically does this trigger. So it turns on airplane mode, turns the Wi-Fi off, and it turns on do not disturb. Okay. So I press this button and I'm dialed in. Okay. So really take some time to think about who you actually let contact you while you're, trying to work, right? It should be very, very limited. In general, I don't let anyone contact me when I'm dialed in. Okay. Maybe you have a wife who you want to let get in contact with you. But even then, I recommend at least talking to these people and making sure they know, hey, I'm working. Don't contact me unless it's an emergency. Okay. So a single notification can knock you out of the flow, and it can literally take 30 minutes to an hour to get back into it. So the flow as in, you're dialed into your work and you don't even want to get up to use the restroom because you're just that dialed in, right? You're actually kind of enjoying your work and you're just, you're making good progress because you're focused. We've all had that feeling, right? So that's really the target state that we're trying to get to. And most people don't really experience it enough. A lot of people are just, they're having shallow work and they're not really getting this deep work done. And that's really what moves you closer to your goal. Okay. So this is important. Don't skip over this. Really spend some time to just optimize this. Make it easy to not be distracted and make it hard for people to get in contact with you. Okay. Next is your workspace. So this is my workspace right now. That's what I'm sitting at. That's the light back there. This is kind of what I've done. Okay, so in my opinion, there's really no need for a crazy setup. You can see here I've just got a laptop, keyboard, mouse, a light, charger, coffee warmer, and the camera for recording. Okay, so here's really what I find important for your setup. Okay, there's a lot of fluff out there. Even things like Landon, by the way, his setup is insane. But a lot of us think we need that crazy setup to actually get work done. But really, I've found it, I've tried stuff like that. I've built out a lot of different setups over the years, and I keep coming back to just a simple laptop. Like I literally have an editing monitor. I've got everything. I like to keep it simple. Okay. So the first thing I find important is a comfortable chair. That's pretty obvious. If you're sitting in a chair for basically 13 hours, like I was saying, just getting this deep work done, you don't want to be, fighting a distraction, which is uncomfortability. That's not a word, but I'm going to use it. You don't want to be like trying to get up because you're uncomfortable in the stupid chair you're sitting in. Okay, so you want to be able to sit in a chair for long periods of time. If it's not comfortable, it's going to be a lot harder. Okay, so find a comfortable chair that you can sit in for long periods of time. Okay. Next is to clean your surfaces. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you're trying to get this deep work done, we're basically trying to remove all the friction. Okay, so a messy surface is going to be friction. You're going to look at it and think, I don't want to be here. I want to get up and do something else. So if you prime yourself, if you make it easy to get deep work done, if you have a clean workspace like this, it's easy to sit there. It almost feels kind of peaceful. Once you get in the flow, you're working, there's no distractions. It's pretty peaceful, and you realize you're getting deep work done, and I think it's one of the best feelings so far, right? So, I think man's purpose is really to, conquer the world and get real work done, right? Well, so basically, you want to be able to get this, dialed in, okay? So a comfortable chair is one. Second is clean surfaces. We've already talked about that. And third is a dark environment. Okay. So this is something I was hesitant to do for a little bit. I'd heard, people talking about it, and I didn't really buy into it. I thought it was kind of weird. But here's kind of the reason behind it. Okay. The reason I've done it is because when I have this dark room, it kind of tricks my brain. So it could be, it could be 5 a.m, it could be 8 p.m, it could be 12 p.m. It really doesn't matter what time it is. It kind of just puts me in the state of mind that I'm working. So it kind of tricks my mind, and it makes it like at the end of the day, you don't want to be cutting off your work day just because the sun went down, which happened to me a lot. But let's say it's winter and the sun goes down at 4. You don't really want to be ending your day at 4 o'clock. So this kind of tricks your mind when you have the curtains closed and most of the lights off. You can see I have one lamp here just to light my space, but kind of tricks your mind into, being able to work longer hours. Does that make sense? And the last one is quiet. So I close my door, I lock it, and I also have rain sounds. I've really tried to avoid music with words. I've tried lots of things. I was listening to like pop, country, EDM. I don't know what I was thinking, trying to get deep work done like that. And then I kind of dialed it back to like instrumental focus music. And even then, it kind of still distracted me. So I've kind of just dialed it into rain sounds. Okay, so it's still some ambient noise that I can listen to all day, but it really doesn't distract me at all. Okay, so that's kind of what I found for my workspace. This is what's worked best for me. Like I said, I've tried tons of different things. I've built out lots of different, desk setups. I've tried different audios. I've tried a lot of different things. And so far, this seems to have worked the best for me. Okay. So that's workspace. Next is app blockers. So, like I said, we're really trying to dial in the focus. So having some systems in place to make sure you don't go off the rails and get distracted are great. So first one is self-control. So that one's for your Mac, and it's a free app, and it basically just blocks out, a list of websites. So this could be Instagram. You can see I have it mostly for Instagram. Okay. So if you just want to get some dialed in work, you can set the time here to however long you're supposed to be dialed in. Start the block, and it's impossible to get into it. Okay, so that's self-control for the Mac. Freedom is basically the same it's just for the iPhone. Same concept there. And then Newsfeed Eradicator is also for the Mac, and it basically gets rid of the newsfeed. So I do a lot of work on Instagram, and I don't want to be distracted by newsfeed here. Okay, so it really just gets rid of it. And worst case, if you need to get into it, you just click this button, and you can, allow it for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you need. Okay, but it kind of just takes that, that urge out of it, like when you just see the feed and you want to click on it, right? It gets rid of it, just making it easier to focus. Okay, so these are the 3 I've found. Like I said, I've tried a lot of different things. This has been what's worked best for me. Okay, that's app blockers. So now we've really dialed in, for me at least, these are some of the big things that have helped me focus and have given me energy. Okay, so with these 2 things in check, there's one step missing, and that is being able to focus on the right tasks, right? So let's say you think, you're focused in on the right tasks and you got your energy up. Well, if you're not actually doing the right tasks, you could be, whittling a stick in the corner all day. You're doing something, you're focused on it, you have energy, but you're not actually doing the right tasks that move you closer to your goal. Okay, so that's really where task prioritization comes in. Okay, so most people suffer from death by 1,000 cuts. So what does that mean? Well, that's basically, so many people have so much going on in their day-to-day life, and it's these little things that keep sucking your energy and your focus, and you're doing so many different tasks, you just get distracted and you can't make any progress towards your goals. Okay, so this is a great visual example of it that I quickly threw together. This is your energy. You only have so much of it. So if you're focusing on little things that really don't matter, you're not going to make any progress. You're going to be spinning your tires left in the same spot you were a year or 2 ago. Okay, you're going to make maybe slow progress, if that. Okay, so the goal is to avoid death by 1,000 cuts and really focus in on the tasks that matter. For me, I've boiled it down to about 4 tasks that really move me forward in my business. Okay, so you want it to look like this. You want to take your energy and just concentrate it all into one place, which is going to move you closer towards your goal. Does that make sense? So here's how you avoid death by 1,000 cuts. So I've created a free 30-minute daily audit sheet. Okay, so you're going to do this 1 week out of every month. Basically, you're going to slowly start to cut down activities that don't move you closer towards your goal. Okay, so basically what you're going to do is audit your time. So you're going to, every 30 minutes, you'll set a timer on your phone and basically fill out what you did in those 30 minutes. Okay, at the end of the day, you'll have a list of everything you did in that day. Now do that for a week out of every month. And what you'll find is that your time is just going into a lot of things that don't really matter. Okay, now when you have this data, you can really figure out what tasks are going to move you closer towards your goal and what tasks are just being done that can be, outsourced or just completely removed. Okay, so this is really important, right? If you're spending, all your day doing tasks that don't matter, even if this is cooking, if it's eating for too long, or if it's, laundry, there's lots of tasks that just can be outsourced that you're doing that you really should not be doing. Okay, even if it's, if you go out to eat, that means you have to get in your car, you have to drive somewhere, you have to go get the food, you have to come back, and you're kind of just getting yourself out of that flow state. All right, we're trying to remove all these distractions and just make it easy to, if you have to take a break, you can just pop out, eat real quick, and get right back into it. Okay, like I said, it sounds weird, but you kind of have to just turn yourself into a machine. That's what's going to set you apart from everyone else who's just doing things based on how they feel. Okay, so like I said, the way you avoid this is to audit your day, figure out basically everything you're doing in the day, and then start slowly cutting stuff out. Okay. So eventually you'll narrow it down to the most important tasks. And once you dial in your energy and your focus, you'll literally be able to make insane progress. Because think about it. We'll go all the way back up here. You got, at this point, if you follow these steps, you should have 10 energy, 10 or even 20 focus. Let's say it's 10, just for the sake of example. Now your result is you're producing 100 output. Okay. The average person could be like a 5 because they can't focus and their energy is all right. They'll say, well, yeah, I've got energy, but a lot of people are eating garbage. Their sleep schedule is wrecked because they're up all night watching Netflix. And their focus is just being pulled by everything. Okay. So this is really what's going to set you apart. This is what's going to allow you to get deep work done and really move closer towards your goal. Okay. So for me, I've got that goal of 50K per month, and I've really narrowed it down to, some simple tasks that I need to get done. Okay. So I need to read, because that's basically putting information in my system. Then I create content that's taking that information, synthesizing it, and then creating it as content. Because if I'm not putting content in, I won't be able to produce anything. Okay. So I'm consuming content via books, I'm producing content, and I'm setting appointments and booking calls, right? That's how I make money. So those are kind of the 3 big tasks for me, and I've really boiled it down. I've removed a lot of the fluff from my life, okay? So that's what you're going to do, right? So if you follow these steps, you should really be able to, even if you don't get up to a 10, you should at least be able to bump it, a lot, okay? Just doing these 2 things is going to set you apart, like I said, so much, okay? Because look at this, 100 output versus 5. It's just insane. You will dominate. You will crush your competition or crush your past self, right? A lot of times it's you versus, most of the time it's you versus you, okay? So yeah, really, really dial this in, right? Get your energy up and focus on the right task and allow yourself to get deep work done by removing these distractions, taking the proper steps before you start your workday, right? You don't want to be fighting this uphill battle, constantly just trying to get work done, fighting these distractions. It should actually be kind of easy to get this deep work done, right? For me, there's nothing fighting for my attention. My phone is on silent. I have a clear plan for the day, so I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So it's a lot easier to get work done. I get more work done in one day than I used to get done in a whole week, or even, it was probably even 2 weeks, honestly, just because I've optimized my energy, my focus, and my output has been insane. Okay. So that's it for this video. Like I said, really think about how you can optimize these 2 things. That's how you're going to get an insane output. So that's it for this video. Like I said, I'm posting 30 tips in 30 days on Instagram, so feel free to check that out. I've got the resource down here. I'll link that in the description, so you can download that and use that sheet. And I think that's it for this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Feel free to subscribe and like if you found this helpful, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.